everybody, and welcome to the third episode of K0C0P0. Yes, we still don't have another name, but I kind of like it. It's kind of catchy. And 3 weeks, we're almost a month in, and Cody is of course here as well to join us.
What's up?
And well, let's get right into it. Our beginning event or beginning section every week is what have we been playing this week. So Cody, tell me, have you been playing Alien Isolation?
No, not really, actually.
Is there a
Uh,
particular reason why not?
no, not really. Mainly because probably Blade and Soul. That's it.
So, what I was thinking is, your YouTube channel now has been sort of in the light for a week. Not too much uploaded yet though. How is that going along?
Okay, so people were wondering when I was going to post another video, and I was actually working on a video for an early review on IL-2 Battle of Stalingrad, but it seems like I'm having an audio issue with my shadow play, and I'm not really sure what's causing the problem. From what I've seen, people on like threads and stuff been saying that maybe it's because shadow play is still considered beta, and I'm pretty sure I have my audio settings set up right for it. So I think what I'm gonna do for now is move to Fraps until shadow play is done. Actually comes out fully, like a full the full version of it, because right now it's only in beta, and I prefer Shadowplay better just because it doesn't slow down your computer, because
Yeah.
it's actually running off the graphics card instead of like your operating system. So
All right. So I was also thinking then, since you've only played Alien for about what is it, like 20 minutes or something,
yeah,
would there still be a possibility that you would do like a Let's Play series on it on your channel?
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Um, because I've been wanting to do a Let's Play of War Thunder, but I don't know. I'm trying to get my audio issues situated first before I can figure out what I do next.
How does that go with War Thunder? I know that it's of course a multiplayer game where you have, well, it used to be air only. There are now ground vehicles though as well, right?
Yeah,
So it doesn't have a campaign, but you just will record matches that you play.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. So okay, yeah, that should be fine. All right. So you haven't played Alien. I have. Let me say something about that because even though I did play some more Alien, I decided to take a break from it until I until I've had uploaded all my recorded footage up until that point. I am actually still liking the game, kinda. There is a section which I won't spoil, which was awesome, which I didn't see coming at all. There were no screenshots released for that at all. It was very nostalgic. Let's call it that. Um, but I am now at the section where I do have the flamethrower, and currently the alien is actually really starting to get on my nerves. With many horror games, you have the problem that once you see the monster long enough, or once you encounter it long enough, the scare kind of goes away. And that is why it is important for horror games to kind of introduce new enemies. Amnesia did that kind of well, and I think in total there were three different monsters, and they all three had a very different pattern on how to deal with them. And right at the moment where you thought, okay, now I'm used to this kind of monster, a new enemy with terrible or horrifying sounds and disfigured and whatever comes into play. Um, the alien, though, always is the alien, and even though his pattern or his AI behavior is non-scripted, it is kind of predictable in some ways. Um, and what makes it worse is the introduction of the flamethrower, where up until this point, I had to rely on gadgets like noisemakers, or things like Molotov cocktails. And the Molotov cocktails are really difficult to build because you need a lot of components in order to get that. whereas the noisemaker is actually pretty easy to make. But the danger there, or the challenge there, is that you actually need to physically throw the noisemaker in a section that you're not at. And I've had maybe twice where I thought I would do a good throw, and I threw it against like a pole or a box, and it bounced back right at my feet, and I had to run away from it. So the challenge is there to actually find a good place for the noisemaker, or for a mine or a Molotov cocktail. But with the flamethrower, you can just shoot at the alien, even when it comes rampaging at you, and then it will go back into a vent and will leave you alone for a few seconds. What this does is that you kind of, or at least that was the effect that on me, is that I started playing very sloppy. I stopped being stealthy. I just rushed to the next sort of like story point, and when the alien would come for me, I would burn him. He would go away, and then I would just, continue on. And if he would come back, I would burn him again. Now it's true that you don't have that much fuel in your flamethrower, but still, I played sloppy. And then after my fuel got depleted, and the alien would come, it will kill me. I was more annoyed than scared that happened, and that was kind of a sign for me that I kind of needed a break from this. It's getting now kind of repetitive. In terms of that alien that keeps on following you. And still, the saving system is one of the worst systems that I've ever seen. I know that last time we spoke about it, it's probably because I played on hard. But still, though, I'm at a section now where I need to... I don't know what... I need to press 2 switches, and it's just horrible. I always get killed after I press the like single switch and I go for the second one. I mean, there's no fucking saving point in between them. It's just, I don't know. I need a break from it. I want to go back, but in honesty, I'm actually more excited to play that Crew Expendable DLC, which is probably very short, and where I actually can play as Alan Ripley, which I actually want to do. I actually checked the Survivor mode as well, as a background for our podcast last time, and it is indeed basically... you get these objectives. You're in this room, and I guess all the items. It says like you need a card, or you need a key card. You need this item, and you need this key, and they're placed randomly, and you need to search for it. And there's a timer, and you get like the best score on a scoreboard, and the alien will be chasing you the whole time. Yeah, it was kind of okay, but I saw scores of like people clearing that in less than a minute, so they probably just rushed. And if you want to play it like that, it's not really that fun. So that's my story with Alien. I'm on a hiatus right now for that game. I'll probably continue somewhere next week when all the recorded footage has been uploaded. I've been playing it now for I think about 5 to 6 hours. But yeah. So tell me, what else have you been playing?
Blade and Soul for you guys.
All right.
That's about it.
Tell us, what is Blade and Soul?
Korean MMORPG. It's Japanese. The one we're playing is the Japanese version. Same thing, just different language. It's available out in let's see, Japan, China, and Korea, and then maybe Russia. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's not in the U.S. yet. It's made by NCSoft, so the same makers of Terra, I believe. And so far, they announced it for the U.S. and Europe, but it never came out. And they announced it 2 years ago, and they never put any information on it. So,
yeah,
oh no, correction.
Yeah.
NCSoft didn't make Terra. It's Guild Wars 2 they made.
Oh, they did. Oh, all right. But there's definitely a distinctive style though that is very comparable. Maybe it's a style that a lot of Korean MMOs actually do handle. I know that they made Aeon too though, right? That is them.
Yeah,
right?
they made Aeon, Blade and Soul, both Guild Wars, Lineage, and Wildstar.
All right, so Guild Wars is actually a Korean game. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's out in the U.S. as well. I played it for a while, but it got too grindy for me, especially in the main story.
Mm. So, what are your thoughts on Blade and Soul?
I like it. It plays a lot like Terra. Even that's probably why we thought NC Soft made Terra. Um, I don't know. Just I guess just watch the videos we do.
I mean, we've been playing now for about, I don't know, 3 hours maybe. We
Yeah,
are about level 10. We don't know yet. We are in a free trial, which means that we can play for free, obviously, until a certain level. There's a
yeah,
little bit of
16.
uncertainty until what level? I thought I read 14, but you said 16.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe it's 16.
so after that point, we actually need to buy cards that you can buy here in the store in Japan to play every month. They're basically play cards that you have for PlayStation Network and Xbox Live and stuff like that. But they cost like 3,000 yen, which, well, for me in euros, of course, that's not too bad. It's still more than your average MMO. Um, but it's 30 US dollars, which is that's quite shitty. But you said that if you would buy that, you would get extra shit with it. Do you know what?
No, not really. I need to double check because I actually went to 7-Eleven today. That's where I saw them, and they were sold out. So I'm gonna check probably in a few hours and go back and see if they have them.
All right.
From what the site told me is you get some stuff with them, so it's not just game time. I'm not entirely too sure what you get, but that's what according to the site you get more than just game time.
All right. Um. Now, in terms of what I really like, is the aesthetic. In terms of aesthetic, it really reminds me of Terra. Terra was, of course, Unreal engine. It really boasted itself with its graphical quality. Um, Terra wasn't a great success though in the beginning. It went, I think, within a year it went to free to play, and I think that is a system that a lot of MMOs handle right now. I actually don't know how the Elder Scrolls Online is doing at the moment. I know that all the reviews were very mediocre about that game, but pretty much all other games, all big MMOs, the Secret World, um, fucking, what was that game? Shooting Tabula Rasa. That's a long time ago though, but that one went free to play as well. Of course, the Old Republic went free to play. Um, the only thing that I know that was really a big success out of that was Lord of the Rings Online. They really benefited from that going free to play, and I guess Terra and the other ones have boasted a little bit of that as well. But as you can see here, the Blade and Soul is definitely not free to play, only a free trial. But I'm really liking it. The only problem that I have with it thus far is we've been playing for 3 hours, and the number of armor loot that we got is very, very mediocre in terms of how many. We had a quest where the reward were two separate armor, and it could be worn by all races, and basically they were the exact same looking with a different color scheme. That was the only difference. And I started thinking about Terra, and in Terra you had the same thing where basically in every zone that you went to you had this one particular armor set that you would get that would change color over time, but you would keep recycling the same armor sets in every zone, and then when you would go to a new zone, you would get a new armor set. But very, very few or very rare would you get a different armor drop. And one of the cool aspects of MMOs, I think, is the huge number of cool looking armors, and that eventually you would look like a badass guy or chick. Um, I used to play Warrior all the time back in the days of World of Warcraft, just because I wanted cool plate armor. I thought that plate armor looked the coolest, and I wanted to look like a badass. But I changed, and I've said this before in a different video. I've changed to mage because I was tired of hitting big boss monsters in the toe. and where me, and Alec just finished, we had this story mission where were fighting this big giant monster, and again, I was pretty much hitting that motherfucker in the big toe. Now your character is tiny as hell, so like for you, that'd probably be even more where you were hitting him in the big toe. Then again, you are a summoner though, so you do actually attack from a distance, correct?
Yeah, I have a minion that attacks for me as well, so I just do long range attacks.
Yeah, that, that's fine. But yeah, I started thinking about it that the other Korean MMO also had kind of lackluster armor drops, and I started thinking, well, what makes World of Warcraft then so good in terms of how many drops it has? And obviously, the answer is very simple: is that World of Warcraft is obviously 10 years old, where you will have so much content in there at the moment. Where obviously, whenever you play a new MMO, especially when it just comes out, there isn't a whole lot of stuff. So maybe instead of thousands of armor sets, there may be a few hundred. Um, I mean, when Black Desert is going to come out, it's probably the same thing. It probably looks good, but in terms of comparison to other MMOs, longer existing MMOs, the contents might be a little bit lackluster. But since Blade and Soul has been out for a while, I was hoping that it would be a little better. But then again, we've only played until level 10. Uh, Armor drops might be a little better in the future. We haven't really done any dungeons yet. There were some sections that were instants where we would go into caves, but really we haven't done any cool boss fights yet or something. Hopefully that will change soon enough. Usually MMOs will bump it up after you're level 10. Usually that's the first tier where the game kind of holds your hand, and after that you will kind of go do your own thing. But I definitely like it. What I really think is cool is that the whole aesthetic is very Asian, where Terra was European with European looking castles, farms, European looking woods. This is all very Asian, and not only like Chinese, but also Thailand. I don't know, some Taiwan. There's a lot of Taiwan influence as well. Not so much Japan though. Gotta admit.
Yeah.
Mm, but I'm definitely liking what I've seen so far. The starting zone was absolutely gorgeous with this beautiful beach that reminded me of Koh Phi Phi, which is the island where the beach with Leonardo DiCaprio was shot, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And all these floating castles and rocks in the sky. It's just beautiful. Ironically enough, the section that came after that, where we were fighting the zombies stuff, was a little less impressive looking because everything was dead and ugly and dark. But that section where we're now at least we're again in a tropical area, so it's definitely easy on the eyes. But yeah, no, I'm very impressed. We had a lot of trouble though getting it to start because I got an error. Alec had some problems, I guess, as well with installing it. But luckily, within a day, we got it all to work, and now we're playing it. I don't know yet how the series is doing. On my channel, the first episode is not uploaded yet. It is uploaded, but it is still on private, so that is going to be released public later today. But yeah, no, I'm definitely stoked on that game. I really like MMOs, but I've never had people to play with, unless it was when World of Warcraft came out. But yeah, no, I like that. I have you guys. Do you usually play only with Alec, or do you have a different group that you play your MMOs with?
Alec isn't too huge into the MMOs. The only MMO we actually played together before Blade and Soul, I wouldn't really consider War Thunder as an MMO, but we played Phantasy Star Online 2, and we're using an English patch for that. And then we're playing with just me, him, and his girlfriend, and that was it.
Do you like Phantasy Star Online 2? Because of course, Tokyo Game Show, there was, I think, an expansion thing or something for Phantasy Star Online 2?
I haven't really put a lot of time into it. On my older computer, I kind of got rid of it because I didn't really play it a lot, and there's a huge level gap between me and Alec and his girlfriend, so I was like, I was kind of getting dragged along with a lot of the missions we did. So
Mm,
I don't know. It wasn't really that fun. It was kind of a meh game,
all
to
right.
be honest.
Who did you play Final Fantasy 14 with? Do you usually play then alone?
Uh,
Almost.
I used to play with a friend that I met in Texas when I was living there. Uh, but he doesn't play anymore. And even though the guild I play with is huge and really friendly, I was getting just kind of bored because I hit the max level, and after that, it kind of it turns into like a dungeon grind fest
Mm,
to get like these things called tomes, and that's how you unlock armor sets. And it just turned into a huge grind fest.
all right. But you and Alec did, or try, I should say, try to jump into Archage, right? Both of you.
Yeah. Okay. We want to go into that, or
Yeah, sure. Like,
okay?
yeah,
So
go for it.
I beta tested Archage, and at the time, it uh didn't really have a whole lot of issues. I was a founder, so I think the money I paid got me a lot of in-game stuff, and it helped fund their creation and development and stuff.
How much
But
did you pay?
I think it was. I thought I paid $30, but I got a refund. It was actually $50, so I don't remember if I how much I paid, to be honest.
Mm,
Um, so I go. I played the beta. A friend of mine back in California played it with me. He thought it was great, and then I thought it was okay. I mean, it had a lot of content I'd never seen in the game before.
mm-hmm.
And then when it came out, it had the first day it came out for founders because we got like a 3 or 4 day early access. It was DDoSed, so we couldn't log in. And when they got their servers back up, there was a queue for founders, which was ridiculous. And I guess they didn't anticipate how many founders there would be, so their servers got overloaded, so no one can play for like first 3 days. When it first came, and then when it came on, it had so many bugs in the game, it was unbelievable. So they got a lot of bad feedback within Steam because that's where you could buy the Founders Pack. Originally, it was on Steam, and Steam decided to pull their game off of Steam. So I asked Steam if I can get a refund since it was pulled off, and they didn't meet their agreements for the release, so they refunded me. And then I got an email from Treon saying that they were trying to say the game I bought was it was a fraudulent buy because I got it off Steam and I got a refund from Steam. So they tried to say that I committed fraud with their company, and I told them that
Wow.
was bullshit. I heard their PR went down the drain after Archage came out. So Treon isn't doing too good as a company right now, from what I'm hearing.
What else did they make, Trion?
They made Defiance, and that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Because of course, we were thinking about, Blade and Soul as they're coming to the US or stuff. As I said before, Terra didn't have great success, went free to play within a year. Actually closed a lot of its servers too. Of course, this Archage bullshit then is probably also a problem. So I guess for Korean MMOs, that market becomes, I guess, a little bit less attractive. But then again, it sounds like they didn't have their shit together,
Yeah,
which should be punished, or it should be something said about. Um, but yeah, no, that sucks. I mean, I remember watching some videos of it from the Yogscast back when they actually played it on the Korean servers. And to me, it looked really cool how you could create your own like villages, and you needed to create this boat that you could, explore new areas. But yeah, it sounds like it wasn't that good after all.
yeah. On the release, especially if the housing, because it's like Final Fantasy 14, it's focused around guilds, and I heard it was turning into like, I don't know, claiming the land type case where like people would put down cheap like farms just to claim land,
Mm.
and it was there's certain areas you can claim land in, and I heard it filled up really quick because people were just throwing cheap pieces of land that you could buy right off the bat and just claiming territory before they can build on it later when they get the money.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that is kind of a shame. I was sort of looking forward to that, but I guess it's I'm not gonna get into that. So, did you play anything else besides that this week?
And uh, I was working on the IL-2 Battle of Stalingrad video for my channel, so I did play a little bit of that, but I was just going over the basics of it, so I didn't really put a whole lot of time into it, probably about 20 minutes. But other than that, that's about it.
How's that though?
Been kind
How
of
do you find the Battle of Did you play the? I forgot. I might have asked this earlier. Did you play the Il-2 Sturmovich game?
I had it for because I had a few of them for Xbox 360, so that's how I got hooked onto that game. And then War Thunder came out, which is basically an online version of it, so I played that a lot. And then IL-2 Battle of Stalingrad is like War Thunder, but it's way focused more simulation battles than um like arcadey feel.
Mm.
So it's way more realistic. It's crazy.
All right. Would you say that the learning curve is very, very high?
It took me probably about 10 minutes to learn the controls. I had to bind some custom controls to my flight stick, so it took me like 10, 20 minutes to figure it out, and I think I had a pretty good hold of it within like the first few hours.
All right. So yeah, I guess it's already. How many maps are available right now?
I know there's only a few, but they're so fucking big. I don't. The maps are really, really, really big. I haven't tried flying across, but like, just like a third of the map is like. Let me put it this way: some of the campaign missions you have to do require you to fly pretty far,
Hmm.
and it took me. It was the place I needed the bomb took me 10 minutes to get to, and then 10 minutes to get back, and that wasn't even like that was like less than 1/8 of the map.
Wow. What's happening during those 10 minutes though? Is there constantly action going on, or is it kind of normal mode?
Um, I'm not sure how their game system works, but it can be various. Anywhere from like flak coming off the ground, or you get buzzed by some like air patrol, the opposite team you're fighting.
Mm.
I think it's pretty dynamic.
Wait. You campaigned. Is that single player campaign or is that a multiplayer thing?
Um, Pretty sure it's only single player.
Oh, all right. Well, that it does sound pretty interesting. But like, yeah, like you said, it's early access, so it's still probably going to get a lot of updates. So hopefully we will see your review on it pretty soon. I mean, I look forward to actually checking it out and see how the game looks for myself. It's pretty pricey though, but
Yeah,
I do like some of those flying games myself.
yeah, it is a little bit pricey.
Mm. Do you think though that it's money well spent up until what you?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't had any issues at all with it.
All right, sweet. So, all right, now that we're done with that, let me get to one more game that I have played. So, I, of course, also played Alien Isolation. I played Blade and Soul. And since yesterday, I played A Legend of Grimrock 2, which was finally released. Came kind of as a surprise for me. And this is the follow-up to Legend of Grimrock, which I did back in March of 2012. If you're listening to this, you might want to check that out. A very, very classic K0noa. A long time ago, I had less than 50 subscribers back in the day, and it was the first Let's Play that I did where the first episode got like around 100 views, and because of that, I kind of considered it like the first success on my channel since I had such few subscribers. And it was it was an indie title back then, not a whole lot of coverage from other YouTubers, and it took me kind of by surprise that a part two was coming. And I've only played for about an hour, but I'm already so back into that game, and it is amazing how such a small indie game can make me so excited when it's coming out between all these big blockbuster titles. And like I said, I've only played for an hour. The game is probably pretty long because the first one was also long. I think it was like 15 hours. Um, but where in the first Legend of Grimrock is a very old school style RPG to the point where it's so old school that I haven't actually played any of those RPGs back when I was younger. But RPGs used to be first person and you would move around on these tiles. Now this would be actually very slow, and it would usually be turn-based. Sometimes you would actually find secrets by clicking on various parts of the wall. And for example, when you would engage in combat, the enemy would be standing on the tile next to you, and you would take turns in fighting. Now this takes that element and modernizes it where you can actually move around in real time, still on tiles though, but you can kite around the enemy fairly easily, and you can attack in real time by clicking on it, but all of the regular attacks do have a cooldown, so the fighting system can be in some way compared to Final Fantasy XII, where you can move around in real time, yet your attacks do have a cooldown every time that you strike. Of course, different enemies in Legend of Grimrock have different techniques where some of them can fight from a distance, some of them are really fast. I haven't encountered them yet, but I'm pretty sure that this game will have spiders as well. The spiders in the first game were an absolute bitch. But one thing that I really like so far is that in the first Legend of Grimrock, the whole game was taking place in this tower, and you basically were descending from floor to floor to floor to floor to the final floor, and you basically were in the same ruins all the time. So the environment looked kind of the same. It looked very pretty, but it looked the same all the time. The variety that you got was because you got on each floor you got a few new enemies introduced to you. And here you start off on an island on a beach, and it's all sunny, the water's all beautiful, and you just explore the island, and you can go into multiple areas, and it doesn't feel as linear as the first one did, where you need to descend from floor to floor to floor. As here you have caves that you can explore, or forests, and there will be dungeons as well, but you won't be playing most of the time in that dungeon alone. It actually has a real-time day and night cycle, and of course a big thing with the first one were that the puzzles were kind of difficult and kind of reminded some people of Myst. I've never actually played Myst. Have you played Myst? You know what it is?
No.
All right. Well, it's pretty difficult, but to give you an example, one of the first puzzles that I got was there were these 9 pressure pads, and there are all these signs that give you a hint, and one of the hints was X marks a spot. Now, usually you would think, okay, I'm looking for an X maybe on the map or on the ground, but what you obviously need to do, and I kind of got used to those puzzles in Legend of Grimrock 1, so I immediately figured this out for Legend of Grimrock 2, but you need to place rocks on the pressure pad in the form of an X, and then the door would open. I had a lot of trouble though with a puzzle where it said call out the guardians, and the game really doesn't hold your hand, because what you need to do is you need to go all the way to a different part, and it will take you a long while. Then you would get a blowhorn, and you would stand there and blow it, and then actually a mini boss fight would occur, and that is currently where I am. The addition of mini boss fights is also new, which is actually a very welcome thing in my opinion. You can actually have some really cool stuff. The first one really didn't have any boss fights. In the final floor there was some sort of a boss, but really he was kind of lame, and was just basically this cube that just fucking moved around. And now I'm fucking fighting these like plant vine Jumanji type enemies, which is it's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely am very, I don't know, very much into that at the moment, and like I said, it's pretty impressive that a small indie game like that can really hold my interest like that. So that is it for what I've played. Now, of course, the big title that was released this week was The Evil Within. As I said before, I've heard a lot of bad things about it, but I checked the review scores, and the review scores are actually pretty good. They're like 9s, 9.2, so I might actually have to check that game out for myself. I said that I heard bad things about it, but I have never actually played it myself. I didn't check any of the Let's Plays. All the things that I know of the game were just described to me with words from other YouTubers. But yeah, are you interested at all in The Evil Within or something?
Slightly, but I don't have the money to play it right now. It's kind of, I don't know. I'd rather wait.
It's Shinji Mikami made. Resident Evil 4 classic. Did you play it?
Resident Evil 4?
Mm.
Not really.
It's amazing, amazing game. And yeah, I'm very curious to what it is. I actually really want to check it out. Yeah, and this week probably won't happen, but next week hopefully I will get into that. That would be cool for Halloween style as well. So yeah, that is pretty much it for in terms of games that we've been playing. Now I want to get into some news that has been happening. There's actually been now some news, and it is about YouTubers actually. So that is right up our alley. Namely, yesterday and I already talked a little bit about this with Cody. I was at college and I got this email that I received a copyright claim on one of my videos. Now, this sometimes happens. I have more than 3,000 videos on my channel, so sometimes this company or one company is bitching and wants, a piece of the money. And it's usually song or music companies that have like a song in the background of one of my videos. Music companies are kind of like the ones that bitch the most. But I was surprised to see on one of my Alien Isolation videos a copyright claim by a company called YT News. And I've never heard about these guys, but YT News didn't really seem to me as a company that had any affiliation with Sega or Creative Assembly or whatsoever. So I typed in on YouTube YT News to look up this company or this channel, and to my surprise, the first 10 videos or something were all videos claiming YT News fake claims on Alien Isolation videos, and I checked I think 4 or 5 videos, and it seems that YT News is this fucking random company, has nothing to do with Sega or whatsoever, but they are claiming hundreds of videos of Alien Isolation on this certain part. It is the part where you first actually see the alien in its total, and at that part, the company will actually claim your video. There's a second part now that they've also started claiming, which I haven't uploaded yet. I did pass that yet, or I did pass it, so I'm a little worried about uploading that. But obviously, it is very like we can all dispute this claim where we can say, hey, look, this company has no connection whatsoever to this video. What's even more kind of insulting to me was that they said that they claimed audio visual content. Now, audio content, that's one thing, where that's usually what we're getting, where there's a song in the background that is one of them. I think the Shadows of Mordor has that. Warner Brothers is kind of a pain in the ass about that. They did it with Batman Arkham Asylum too. But for Alien Isolation, it said audio visual content. Now, I don't know about you, but I put my face in that video. And to say that visual content is yours means that you can use this where my face is on there. The moment that my face is on there, like it's mine. I realize that it's still I'm using the Alien Isolation footage, but under fair use and everything, I can use that, and it is my own gameplay, and especially by manipulating the image, by putting a face cam in it. I mean that's just I don't know that was really I got really mad. The moment I got home, I disputed the claim, but unfortunately it's not that easy that it will immediately disappear. How it works with YouTube is you dispute your claim, you write, okay, this company doesn't have anything to do with this fucking company, so the claim is invalid, and then they have that company, so YT News has 30 days to respond and get rid of their claim. If they do not, legal action will be taken, and the punishment can be pretty severe with fucking money being involved. But like I said, they have 30 days, and what a lot of these companies do is wait until the very last day and then say, oh, sorry, our bad. And then we get our video back, or they revoke the claim. But they do get all the income from those 30 days. So it's very sneaky, and it is actually the first time now that I've seen this on such a large scale. I've heard stories about people doing this, but it's pretty horrible out there. I mean, in that way, the claiming system on YouTube is very shitty in that anyone could pretty much claim any video at the time, or at any time, and instead of that, YouTube actually asks somebody like, what do you base this on? How can you prove that this is actually yours? It just says, okay, no, you're right. You claim this video, and no, it's okay, it's yours. And then it's to us to say, no, wait, this company has nothing to do with this video. This is wrong. And then we get this 30-day bullshit. And yeah, I don't know. It's pretty disgusting. I mean, you are of course, new to the whole YouTube thing, so you haven't had any issues here, of course.
Yeah.
But that might be an issue that you have to work with as well in the future, maybe. But yeah, I don't understand. I mean, in general, I don't understand why people would claim your videos. Unfortunately, my first Blade and Soul got claimed as well. Now I'm not going to delete it, but it basically means that NC Play, which is legit because they're the ones that created it, but they're claiming my video, which means that all of the revenue that video makes will go to them. Which kind of sucks. I mean, I'm kind of like promoting the game and stuff, and they're like, oh, you know what? No, we'll take all that money, and it's not even a lot that I'm making from that video, but they're like, nope, we want all of that. And it's the same thing that Nintendo does. And what does it result in? That people stop playing Nintendo games, where fucking research has showed that certain YouTubers playing certain games actually really boosts certain game sales. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed. There's a game called Skate 3. It's made by EA. It's a fucking skateboarding game. PewDiePie was playing it, and actually a lot of other YouTubers as well. But PewDiePie is, of course, obviously the main big dog in this situation. But he was playing it, and it got so popular that the demand for that game, which I think that game is like 3 or 4 years old maybe, it was so high that they needed to start making new copies, EA, because they couldn't provide the copies that were requested. And any company that does this is kind of a fool. I mean, I will not like I said, I will not delete those videos of Blade and Soul, but it's kind of like it's now on a sort of lower priority because the company is like, well, fuck your freedom. We want a piece of that pie, even though it's not a very big pie. I mean, it's more like fucking breadcrumbs. But they're like, nope, that's ours too. And but again, it is of course an Asian company, and like I said, if there's one part of the world that doesn't understand fucking YouTube yet, it's Asia. So many companies just think that we're stealing their stuff or that we're preventing game sales, where it is clearly not. There are still a few companies in the West as well that think that, but luckily a lot of the big companies are starting to support the YouTubers. Ubisoft does it, but the ironically thing with Ubisoft is that they support it by giving free games and early access, but then claiming those videos as well. But EA, for example, has this program where they will provide YouTubers with free games if you sign up, because they realize that it promotes their game. It's free promotion. All those YouTubers that play the game. I mean, the YouTubers aren't asking anything of it. They're just asking, to get the revenue that they make off from the commercials, which is a lot less than what those big companies will make because of the game sales. So, my tip for every fucking game company is don't do it. On the Tokyo Game Show, I talked to an indie developer, asked like, I'm a YouTuber, can I play your game? You're allowed, alpha. And he's like, yeah, no, we want promotion. So, all the pretty much indie developers, they are loving all that YouTube attention, and yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, that Il-2 Stalingrad thingy, Battle for Stalingrad, by who is that made?
It's this company called 777, and I don't think they claim, because I've seen a lot of videos so far, and I don't think they claim anything. But I was going to ask you, now if you recorded Blade and Soul with a webcam on the corner of the screen, could you possibly dispute their claim?
Nope. Um,
No.
because no, even if that's the case, I'm still using it. But what they, for example, would do is audio content. They're basically what they're claiming are cutscenes. I've seen the claims, and it's cutscenes that they claim. The reason why they do this is because the cutscenes are the same every time, so the system can really recognize a certain point. That's why the alien isolation claims are all at the certain point where you see the alien for the first time, because that computer that detects if a copyright claim is valid, or if somebody's using your content, is the same in that cutscene every time. But for example, when we were playing the game, obviously Alec goes somewhere, you go somewhere, I go somewhere. It won't recognize that, since we were all playing so different. So how companies do it is with cutscenes. That's why actually some Let's Players completely get rid of the cutscenes, because that's how they do it. In fact, back in the day, Rockstar now fully supports YouTube as well. But what they said was, you can play our games and you can put it on YouTube, but we don't want to see any cutscenes. So you have a lot of Let's Plays back in the day of GTA without the cutscenes. But now that's all fine. Um, but yeah, in terms of NC Play, that's the one that's claiming my blame and soul. I mean, NC, NC Soft, they're legit. They have the right to say about what's happening to their thing. It might be true, though, what you say about the webcam. If, for example, my webcam is large enough, the icon, it might not recognize it because it is a little bit distorted. A thing, for example, how you can avoid this, and this is a little of a cheating thing, but how, for example, certain movie scenes are on YouTube without being a copyright claim, is by reversing the image. So, everything that's left is on the right side. If you flipping it horizontally, that's what I mean. And so if I would do that, it wouldn't look the same, so the computer wouldn't recognize it. But yeah, no, it sucks. But hopefully you won't really have too much trouble with that. I mean, you doing early access games, I would say that a lot of early access games are by smaller developers that will allow YouTubing. I mean, I think a lot of early access want a lot of social media as well, right? They want feedback, they want a buzz about their game, because it hasn't been fully released yet. Whereas, of course, the big blockbuster titles, they will, they won't do early access. They will be fully released, and that's when sometimes shit starts hitting the fan. Though in the West, most of that has been resolved as well. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, it sucks. Especially the alien thing is scandalous. I'm here actually on the forum of Creative Assembly as well, and Creative Assembly staff said, I have passed this information onto our marketing team, and they have responded in that. Let me see this for a moment. Hold on. In a response, we are aware that some of our users receiving DMCA takedown notifications issued against their YouTube account videos from groups not affiliated with Sega or Creative Assembly. We are looking into this and will have an update shortly. So, as you can see, it goes even so far that the Creative Assembly staff themselves are aware of this problem. So, a very scandalous Y2 news. Fuck you. Alright, that's all I gotta say there. It's a big finger up your ass. But yeah, so that's that. In terms of other news, there's a whole lot of different things to talk about, but you are saying that there is something with Final Fantasy XIV in Vegas. Tell me more about that.
Oh, alls I heard about that was there's some Final Fantasy event going on in Las Vegas. I think it's this weekend. I'm not really too sure what they're doing. Maybe some type of PvP champion or tournament or something, but other than that, I don't really know. I just skimmed through it.
Are you
That's about it.
When you hear about that, or when you read about that, do you feel like playing Final Fantasy XIV again?
Slightly.
Did you know that there
Slightly.
is a Final Fantasy XIV restaurant here in Japan?
Yeah, but I thought that was only for a certain limited amount of time.
Correct. It is. It was the same
Okay,
one
yeah,
where
so it's not.
in the past they had a Resident Evil style restaurant, and it changes the game every so now and then. But it's pretty cool. They have like cupcakes in the form of like Moogles and stuff. So it's kind of cute. If you're really hardcore Final Fantasy fan, it's cool to have been there. But I've not really played Final Fantasy 14. I was in a beta once, but I played for very short time. Um, in terms of Final Fantasy, I'm definitely more of an old school one. Like my favorite one is 9, and the only reason I think why 9 is my favorite is because it was my first one. If so many people like 7, but I think because that was the first one that got really big in the West. Um,
Mm.
I know somebody else who loves 8 a lot, and I asked like, was that your first one? He said yes. So a lot of people, their favorite Final Fantasy is ironically the first one that they play. For me, it was 9, so that was the one I liked. Didn't get into Final Fantasy 11 though. Did you? Hello,
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 11. How was that compared to 14?
Final Fantasy 11 versus 14.
Hmm.
I heard there was a lot of issues of 11. I was gonna play it, but they did charge per month like 14 does, and their program was a little like old and outdated, so I could never really play it.
All right. Well, that is pretty much about it in terms of news. So, in terms of big releases that are going to come out, are you still looking forward to something that's going to come out? I mean, we have some big releases right now. The next one that's going to be pretty big, I guess, is Call of Duty, which will be released in 2.5 weeks, I would say. Now, I know you're not really a Call of Duty player, right?
Nope.
And I'm not too sure what's actually coming out after that. I know that in December, of course I'm skipping November, my bad, but in December, of course, I heard that Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is coming to from those two guys before, and they didn't see me. They fucking touched me even because they glitched through the thing. And this guy sees me from afar. Of the Metal Gear Solid series, I haven't played a whole lot of them though. I played 2, completed that. I played Snake Eater, didn't complete that, and I played 4 and completed that. And I actually really love long cutscenes. I mean, the last cutscene of Metal Gear Solid 4 is like seriously like 18 minutes. It's ridiculous, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing and epic. Even though the story is so fucking difficult and stuff that I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I think it's genius and very very epic and filmic. But yeah, no, we will talk about that next week. Not a whole lot of things that are going to come out this week though, so we might be just playing the same games over. Do you think you're going to play more Alien this week though?
Yeah, possibly. Let's see.
I mean, I guess your priority is now going to be like the Battle for Stalingrad and the War Thunder things. Blade and Soul, of course, too.
Yes,
Still can make it. Last time he gave me a fucking... Yeah. Alright, guys, that was about it. Finally got into some news, so that was cool. Again, if you have some feedback for us or some things that you think might be better, let us know. Like I said, the format might change as well in the future, where we might do webcams or something, because I realize that it's still a long time away, but for example, it's Christmas, and do Christmas special or something, doing a maybe webcam thing, or maybe we actually see faces with fucking Christmas hats would be kind of cool or something. I don't know. At least if we're going to do the same thing with games in the background, I at least want some Christmassy games. So going to play some games in fucking winter landscape or something, or some Christmas mods. But anyway, guys, that was it. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and we will see you guys next week.